In the electrifying realm of UFO mysteries, our gaze frequently rockets across the Atlantic to the United States, where Roswell reigns supreme as the ultimate symbol of extraterrestrial fascination. But amidst the celestial spectacle, a simple question emerges. Why, oh why, do aliens seem to favor the land of stars and stripes? With a plethora of sightings there, one can't help but wonder if these cosmic rendezvous are more about Uncle Sam than beings from distant galaxies. Yet every now and then, our cosmic curiosity propels us beyond national borders, propelling us into the captivating embrace of the Rendlesham Forest Incident. Often hailed as Britain's Roswell, this extraordinary event has etched itself into the annals of international UFO lore. So, dear seekers of the unknown, what precisely transpired during this beguiling Rendlesham incident? And why does it wield such celestial allure in the vast cosmos of UFO mysteries? Join us on a pulsating journey as we unravel the clandestine chronicle behind this legendary British UFO saga. But hey, let's not keep all this fascinating knowledge to ourselves. Join our community of curious minds by subscribing right away. When you do, drop us a comment saying "I subscribe" to let us know you're on board. We'll be thrilled to respond and engage with your questions and suggestions. Together, let's embark on an exciting journey to uncover hidden secrets and untold tales on Becker's Casual History. On that memorable Boxing Day morning in 1980, something extraordinary unfolded in Rendlesham Forest, located in tranquil Suffolk, southern England. This wooded area had once been a World War II military airfield, RAF Woodbridge, overseen by the United States Air Force. At 3 a.m., a vigilant US Air Force security team patrolling near the base's eastern gate witnessed a remarkable celestial display. Peculiar lights descended gracefully from the sky, resembling a cascade of glowing raindrops. Concerned that this might be a downed aircraft, the security team ventured into the forest to investigate. As they delved deeper into the woods, an eerie atmosphere surrounded them. The usually quiet night was now filled with agitated farm animals, sensing an unseen presence. Armed with flashlights, the security team arrived at the expected crash site, only to encounter something beyond their comprehension. Amidst the trees, they found a surreal sight, a luminous object adorned with colorful lights. Before they could comprehend it, the object defied the laws of physics, disappearing into the night toward the distant coast. When local law enforcement arrived at 4 a.m., they attributed the strange lights to the Orford Ness lighthouse in the distance, casting its beam across the landscape. Undeterred, the USAF team returned to the forest as daylight broke, determined to solve the mystery. Their search led them to a clearing at the forest's edge, where they discovered perplexing evidence. The ground bore 3 mysterious impressions in a perfect triangle. Scorch marks on the earth hinted at something otherworldly, while broken branches above suggested a strange, silent passage. Local police were called once more at 10:30 a.m., remaining skeptical and attributing the strange marks to woodland creatures. The quest for answers continued in the United States Air Force after the Rendlesham incident. Just days after the initial mysterious encounter, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt, in command of the base, led an expedition to the strange clearing in the forest. He was joined by a group of officers armed with radiation detectors, ready to explore the mystery. They carefully recorded their findings. At the center of the mysterious triangular impressions in the soil, their instruments showed a reading of 0.07 milliroentgens per hour, a discovery that left them puzzled. In other parts of the clearing, the detectors registered 0.03. But what did these numbers really mean? It turned out, not much. These measurements were well within the normal range for background radiation, with only a slight difference. Before Halt and his team could make sense of these readings, the night had one more surprise. A pulsating light appeared in a nearby field to the east, casting an eerie glow in the darkness. Once again, farm animals reacted with loud noises, as if witnessing something inexplicable. In the following moments, as Halt described it, he and his team looked up at the sky and saw something beyond earthly comprehension. 3 star-like lights adorned the sky, 1 to the south and 2 to the north. However, it was the brightest of these cosmic lights that held their attention. It hovered in the night sky, emitting intermittent beams of radiant light. This cosmic performance continued for a baffling 2 to 3 hours. Undaunted by the surreal scene, Halt and his team carefully documented every detail of this extraordinary encounter. 2 weeks later, their findings made their way across the Atlantic in a memo signed by Lieutenant Colonel Halt himself, known as the Halt memo. It was addressed to the United Kingdom's Ministry of Defence. However, the wheels of bureaucracy turned slowly, and the Ministry of Defence chose to keep this peculiar chapter under wraps. For years, the Rendlesham incident remained a mystery. It waited for the passage of time to reveal its secrets to the world once more. Now, let's dig deeper into the intriguing question of whether there was a government cover-up surrounding the Rendlesham Forest Incident. It seems that someone, perhaps from a government agency, took a keen interest in the reports filed by Lieutenant Colonel Halt and his team. In the days following the mysterious events on December 26th and 28th, a local forestry worker named Vince Thurkettle had an unexpected encounter. Two well-dressed individuals approached him and, while polite, bombarded him with more than 20 questions. They focused on whether he had been nearby during the incident and if he had seen anything unusual. They mentioned they were investigating reports of strange lights in the forest. Thurkettle, understandably puzzled by this sudden interrogation, could provide little helpful information. When his responses failed to reveal much, the visitors left, leaving behind a cloud of mystery. Conspiracy theorists speculate that these visitors might have been the elusive Men in Black, a shadowy government agency associated with UFO investigations. However, Thurkettle himself believes these individuals were more likely local journalists intrigued by the rumors about the forest incident. So, the central question lingers: what really happened in the forest? After his encounter with the curious visitors, Thurkettle decided to investigate the clearing that had caught the American military's attention. His conclusion, however, was underwhelming. He found nothing of interest and dismissed the triangular marks on the ground as likely the work of local wildlife. The broken branches and scorched marks, he reasoned, were probably caused by a friend and colleague who had worked in the area before the incident. Most importantly, Thurkettle firmly believes that the unusual lights seen by the Americans were nothing more than the well-known beams from a nearby lighthouse a few miles away. His familiarity with the area, from growing up there, led him to think that the whole affair amounted to an exaggerated reaction to a common phenomenon. However, not everyone readily accepts this simple explanation. After all, not all reported lights can be easily attributed to a lighthouse's beam. Particularly puzzling are accounts of lights that seem to hover and descend, behavior not easily explained by a mundane source like a lighthouse. Additionally, it's crucial to note that the witnesses reporting these events were not ordinary citizens, but highly trained and experienced military personnel. The idea that these experts simply mistook a lighthouse's beam for a hovering UFO strains credibility. In the search for answers, some have turned to astrology, suggesting that the lights were merely a phenomenon known as bright stars. On the other hand, John Burroughs, one of the people present that night, believes the lights resulted from a secret weapons research project. Burroughs has even written a book elaborating on his theory, suggesting that these lights were the result of an ambitious attempt to tap into the forest energy field. While this idea may sound as outlandish as extraterrestrial visitors, it's one of the many theories circulating about this mysterious incident. The secrecy that surrounded the Rendlesham Forest Incident for so long is one of its most intriguing aspects. It took multiple Freedom of Information Act requests to uncover some of the hidden details, but much still remains unknown. The lingering question is, why would both the UK and US governments choose to hide certain files if there was nothing to hide? The most likely answer is rooted in the geopolitical context of the time, the peak of the Cold War. In 1980, tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union were extremely high. Many believe that the Rendlesham incident might not have involved extraterrestrial visitors at all. Instead, it's possible that another layer of secrecy was at play. Maybe it wasn't aliens in England that both the American and British governments wanted to hide, but rather Soviet involvement or espionage. During the Cold War, any perceived threat, whether from Earth or beyond, carried significant consequences. In that context, the idea of aliens might have been of lesser concern. Thus, the secrecy surrounding the incident could have been an effort to protect sensitive information related to Cold War activities, covert operations, or espionage. In essence, The strange events might have been entangled in the larger web of geopolitical intrigue that defined that era, casting doubt on the true nature of those mysterious nights. As we uncover more details through Freedom of Information Act requests, the story remains an intriguing puzzle, offering glimpses into a time of secrecy and suspicion during the Cold War. So, what do you think? Was it aliens, a government cover-up, or something else entirely? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective matters, and the truth might be out there. Before we finish, have you ever been fascinated by time travel? Prepare to dive into the captivating tale of Ukrainian time traveler Sergei Ponomarenko. Click now to embark on an adventure that will challenge your understanding of reality. Let's dig in.